Now, back to Access Tech Live.
Back to the show. Mark Aflalo with Jenny Bobard sitting in with you. We Roll Mobility. This is a cool app that I was introduced to a while back, and one of the co-founders is Rachel Zoller, and she's with us now and joins us. Rachel, thank you for joining us. We're trying to get Joe on the line, your co-founder. Tell us first, where did Roll Mobility start? Where did this all begin?
Yeah, it was a thought on a napkin. Joe, yeah, usually tells us part of the story, but he's been involved as a volunteer with some of the Paralympic training camps during ski spec in Breckenridge, Colorado, for over 15 years, and was taking a group of athletes out to eat. And they said, "Sure, we'd love to go as long as we can get inside." So he made some calls, tried to get a place that could accommodate several wheelchair users. And when they showed up and they were told that they'd be able to access it, that access wasn't there. And he said, surely this doesn't happen all the time. And they looked at him like, of course it happens all the time. This is our daily existence. And Joe just thought to himself, there just has to be a better way.
Rachel, there's nothing like doing your research ahead of time, making those calls ahead of time, and then you show up with your friends or family, or you're the person with the disability yourself, and it's not actually accessible. I think that's relatable to a lot of us in the disability world. But this app, I think, is really exciting and, might remove some of that frustration from our lives. So tell me a bit more about the app and how it's going to help benefit people with mobility issues.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, you've really hit the nail on the head. It's exhausting. The disabled life is exhausting in general. And our lives we have more appointments, more phone calls, more wait time. I lose time just taking care of my body in general. So to call ahead when you're going to a new place and you don't know what to expect to try to get that information is just one more step, only to get there and for that information, of course, to possibly be inaccurate. So the app really aims to catalog all the information that we can as a community to ease life for anybody who's trying to get that information ahead of time. It's one thing for a restaurant to say, "Hey, yes, we're accessible," but it's another thing for members of the disabled community to come in and give those really fine details about what we're all really looking for in a space. So the app is actually designed for anybody to use, not just people with disabilities, but would take you through a series of questions that generate a weighted score based on the absence or presence of key accessibility features. So we hope that anybody can come into a space and say, "Hey, maybe I don't use a wheelchair yet, but I could see that this space can or simply cannot accommodate for somebody." So
Rachel,
just
I want to bring in
in
your
that
co-founder.
way,
Uh,
yeah,
Sorry, I want to bring in your
great.
co-founder, Joe. Joe's actually with us now. Joe, welcome to the show.
Perfect.
What's the feedback been from the users? I hear that it's growing daily, obviously, and using it pretty much all over the place.
Yeah, we are now in over 46 countries, and we've had just an incredible response from people. It's been so gratifying to hear people say, I started using the app and now go out more. I do more things. We've heard from moms with kids that use it for stroller mobility. We've heard from just a vast swath of a community, people that said, "Hey, now I take my dad out to dinner and I'm comfortable doing that because I know that I will be able to get in with the wheelchair." And just hearing that we're improving people's quality of life is incredible.
I really love that it's community based, right? It's you're gathering information from people physically going to these places and examining the space and, ranking it and giving factual information about the actual space. I'm really curious to know about some of the details that people can get. So for example, for me, I would love to know the lighting options in a space. I would love to know about whether it is accessible by public transit. What are some of the things that people are able to include when they input information?
So we've really focused. We started with mobility issues first and foremost, and we've really just tried to dial that in and make it so that we are doing that as best as we can. But that is something that we are currently working on. We've had some really neat features with phones where your phone has a light meter in it. That's how it adjusts screen brightness, as well as if people gave us access to their microphone, we could say, how loud that place is at that given moment in time, so that people have a snapshot of how that works. So we were actually, you're a little bit ahead of us, but we are working on it, and we're really excited to continue to grow the app to meet these other needs as well.
What about the establishments?
Right.
Have you had any interesting experiences with, locations that are being put into the app, positive or negative?
Yeah, definitely a lot of positive responses. We've had a really good couple of weeks on social media, and we have stickers that we'll send out to establishments that receive a fully accessible rating. And now we're getting other businesses reaching out and saying, "Hey, how do we get a sticker? How do we get you to come by? Or how do we rate ourselves? Because we want to broadcast that we are an accessible establishment." And it's really exciting to see business owners that really care about that part of their business.
I love that you mentioned that it's sort of it's not just for people in the disability community, this app, these types of resources. It's really for everyone. It's folks with strollers. It's really for everybody, right? People who might not do well in loud spaces. So I love that we're broadening and we're really inviting everyone to participate, right? It's not just about disability. So I'm really curious to know, like, if when you're getting these requests, how do I get a sticker? How do I get on the app from the businesses, from the service providers out in the world? When you get to interact with them, do you have sort of a checklist, or how do you invite them into the conversation when it comes to, well, your space really maybe isn't accessible because of XYZ, but here's some advice. Is that something that you're doing out and raising awareness to?
Yes. And so we've actually, what's been really neat is even through our social media, we've really seen a great response. We posted something about just a trash can in a bathroom that was, not something that you'd be able to maneuver and use in a wheelchair. And we had a response from a owner of a brewery in another state, actually, that said, "Oh my gosh, we have that same exact trash can. We will change that today." And so that has been just such a cool thing. One of the things that was really important about the app is that it is objective information. And so you can't go in and just say, yes, this place is accessible. You go through a series of about 10 questions. And when you work on those, the app actually fixes a score for you. So this isn't something that people can say, "Oh, well, you think that maybe we're accessible." You can see what the answers to those questions are. That's actually coming out in the next build that we've got going. So when you click on a review, you'll be able to see which questions people answered yes, no to. And so you have really objective information. And then we also have a narrative box that people can add anything at all that they want about that space. So, hey, this patio is really great, or, the doors to the bathroom are a little bit heavy, but the rest of the space is great. Those kinds of things. We really wanted it to be something that is not a subjective experience. It's not, I really liked this place, and so I'm marking it accessible. There is very hard data that is associated with these locations.
That's really important. That's really cool because it helps, qualify and quantify it as well. If people want to get in touch and obviously download the app, where can they find that, Rachel?
In the App Store. It's on iOS and Android to download worldwide. And also our website, rollmobility.com. Best ways to find us. And we're on
Excellent.
social. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And of course, people will follow you on social media as well. We'll follow your journey. We'll have you guys back on again because I know there's obviously features that always make the cutting room floor originally that definitely come to the app a bit later on. Thank you for taking the time to join us, guys.
Thanks for having us, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
When we return, it's Global Accessibility Awareness Day, or GAD, and Stephen had a chance to catch up with one of the co-founders of the day, Joe Devon, who actually co-founded the entire event. He's coming up next here on Access Tech Live.
There's more Access Tech Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.